in February of 1987 when I was in a horrible car accident
Mm-hmm.
in the mountains of Colorado outside of Telluride going to Cortez. And it was a life-changing situation. I went over the side of a 180-foot cliff in a snowstorm in a Land Cruiser, 73 Land Cruiser with a soft top. The roll
Wow.
bar broke off. I flipped, instinctively laid sideways, and as I pulled myself out and I stood there at the bottom of this deep ravine, my first thought was, this is a sign from the heavens that maybe my touring Holiday Inn band days are over and there's bigger plans for me.
Welcome to Live Ready Beyond Think and Grow Rich with your host, me, David Ibarra, and our guest today is James F. Wright. James, welcome to our program.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Now, today we're going to be talking about music, and we're going to talk a little bit about media. And James is a singer-songwriter who I've got caught up listening to his music, and wow, you can write music and you got a great voice.
Oh, thank you. The voice is something I was born with.
Well,
And, my sixth grade teacher popped up on Facebook not too long ago, and she says, "Aren't you the one with the raspy voice?"
well,
And she's in her 80s now, so she remembered all that.
well, you recently had a song that you did that was called Finding My Voice.
Yes.
And you said that. So what I want to do just to get our program started, I'm going to have us listen to the first 30 seconds of this incredible song. Here we go.
In the quiet of the night, when the stars align, I lost the words I thought were mine. Shouted to the moon, but all I found was silence, echoing an empty sound. The world kept moving, seasons changed, but I was lost in a whirlwind of pain, fighting battles with shadows in my mind. Had to step back, leave the noise behind. I had to lose my voice to find it.
Man, wasn't that wonderful? That song, I want you to tell me about what motivated you to write it, and tell me about the title and where you were that motivated you to find your voice in this song and the words.
Well, we have to go back about 3.5 years to a
Mhm.
surgical misadventure
Ooh,
where a surgeon accidentally biopsied my vocal cord
ooh.
while he was working on something else, my septum.
Mhm.
So a tumor grew. I got referred up to Oregon Health Sciences University to a specialist surgeon who turns out is the surgeon to the stars. I mean, many Grammy Award-winning singers have gone to this surgeon, and I was fortunate to be able to have him operate on me and fix me. 3 times I was operated on, and it was just last week that I was meeting with the doctor again, and he was listening to my updates, and he said, it's amazing. He loved all the innovation that I've done to get back to pre-surgical misadventure. And he said, James, it's almost like you had to lose your voice to find it.
Mhm.
And that means a lot of things. And so I went home that afternoon. That song is only a week old.
Wow.
And I went home, and the creative juices were flowing, and someone opened the top of my head and poured in some information, and within 24 hours I had that song. I'm just stunned, and I've got to lose my voice. That you got to lose your voice to find it, or I'm speaking in the first person there. but my music is all about my own journey. And if you listen to my new original album coming up here, uh, which 3 months ago was not even on the plate, but because I've been in this prolific songwriting time, I'm going with it. And with Dr. Schindler talking to me about losing my voice and then finding it, I'm alive with telling my story with music.
Well, I tell you is that I came to know you, James, from I got introduced. You used to have a weekly song you release. You're singing on your porch, and you have a very unique voice. Now, here at Live Ready, Beyond Think and Grow Rich, our program is based on 10 principles of life, and one of them is how do you overcome adversity? And adversity is adjustment. And one of the things that I believe in so deeply, and Dr. Napoleon Hill did as well, that in every adversity, there is an equal or greater benefit. Now, when I heard your story, because you shared it with me, the song of Finding My Voice, the thing that popped into my head was you had to lose your voice to find your voice. What a perfect example of what started out as an incredible adversity that you found a way out. And from it, it sounds like you got a gift of inspiration in some new songs. And you were telling me earlier that now you've just got ideas and it's coming to very quickly. Tell me about that.
Well, it's almost like somebody says a cliched line to me, or I think a line that maybe would be a cliche. You got to lose your voice to find it. Or, I just completed a song just 3 days ago called A Billion Stars. And you're going to want to check that one out too, because I think that one is as good or even better than Finding My Voice. But I start with just a phrase, and then I build around that phrase. And losing my voice, finding my voice. I've always had this raspy voice, and
well, I tell you what, it's exactly what connected with me. I think it was Facebook or somewhere, and I saw you, and I was listening, and I said, "Man, I love that voice." And you're right, you've got a raspy voice. So you were saying earlier that your sixth grade or a teacher found you and said you had a raspy voice back then?
Yep, I had to do full vocal therapy when I was in grade school, and I caught Miss Aerosmith, now Ms. Risden, when she was in her second year of teaching, and now she's 83, and kind of tuned back into some of my school friends, and we reconnected, and that was her first question was, "Aren't you the one with the raspy voice?" So I guess it's been a lifelong signature for me that I didn't really embrace until later in my musical career.
Well, let's go to the very beginning, the early James, and talk about what do your first memory of how it is that you gravitated that I can sing. I want to sing.
Well, my mother, may she rest in peace, was a musician, a very talented musician. At the age of 66, got her master's degree in composition at the University of Washington. So music was her lifelong pursuit. And I just took after Mom, and I developed a love early in junior high and high school. I fell in love with Seals and Crofts, Jimmy Seals's voice, Dash Crofts' voice. I'm kind of a hybrid between those two.
Yes.
Years later, when I was recording in Nashville in the early 90s, I got to meet Jimmy Seals. And I told him that it was better than meeting Elvis.
Wow. Well, it was very interesting when I first listened to a few of your songs that Crosby, Still, and Nash and Young
Yeah,
came to
Stephen
mind because
Stills
it
is
was right
another.
in that sound.
Yeah, Stephen Stills is another one that I've emulated. In fact, I've got their Southern Cross a cover of it up on YouTube, and that's my most listened to track, close to 70,000 listens on that.
Take a moment and picture in your mind igniting your child's journey to lifelong success from an early age. With Yes, Our Kids Can, this vision becomes a reality right from preschool. Don't miss this chance to shape your child's path towards extraordinary success. Enroll in the Yes, Our Kids Can University now and witness the remarkable impact it can have on your child's growth and development. Secure your child's bright future today. Sign up now by clicking the link below. So you have a YouTube channel. Why don't you share with us what's that, what it is, and what will people find when they go
Well,
there?
if I can back up just a little bit,
Okay.
I decided that no record company was going to sign me. That ship had sailed years ago, but I still had a story to tell, and darn it, I was going to tell it. And so I was complaining to a friend of mine, a longtime friend, lives in Vernal, Utah now, and I said, I really need to start a YouTube channel, and finally he got tired of me complaining and lamenting, and he said, James, you're a video producer. Produce the damn video. Just point the iPhone at yourself and sing.
Yeah.
And that was just like the song, a song appears, an idea appears, ding, top of the head opens up, and he gave me the visual. It was simple. And so I have over 60 videos up there now, and I'm on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora. And I decided I was going to be my own record company because I believed enough in my own sound and my own messaging that I'm continuing to grow. I just turned 70. And I'm doing the best music of my life right now. Maybe I'm just a late bloomer. But
the more experience you have, the more wisdom you gain, and wisdom is something that never gets old.
I believe that.
So tell our viewers, what is how do they find you on your YouTube channel? What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Go to James F Wright Music.
James F. Wright Music is now going to appear on our screen.
Excellent.
So there you go. That's where you go. And how many songs are on there, James?
Oh, I think there's over 60 now. And some of them are just me sitting on a park bench with the iPhone pointed at me, singing a cover song. I have a series of covers song projects called Acoustic Cafe Series. Working with a world-class player that's just south in Orem. And between his monster playing and my unique voice, we've created quite an acoustic cafe series. Now the originals are starting to appear. Now I wrote years ago, I've never been prolific until recently.
What is your most favorite song that you've written, James?
I wrote a song for my grandfather, about my grandfather, called Like a Man.
Like a Man.
Like a Man, my grandfather.
Well, hold for a minute. Let's listen to 30 seconds of Like a Man.
He sits there at the window, a frail shell of the man he used to be. His mind was still sharp. Through his thick glasses, he looked right at me. He said, I worked hard in my life, and I tried to do things right, like the man my father.
Wow. Tell us more about that song. Tell us what it meant. Tell us what motivated. And did your grandfather get to hear that song?
No, he never did. I'll tell you the story though. In 1979, I was 23 years old or so, going to BYU. Got a job at the recording studio in the motion picture building, and that's what started all this journey. Was becoming a part-time recording engineer. It was spring break. My boss at the time said, uh, when you go see your grandfather at spring break in San Francisco, why don't you take a tape recorder with him and record him, and I'll let you write a song and record it. And so that's what came of it. And that song is on my album, The Captain, that I released in 2001. And the song starts with my grandfather saying, I was born in Lockport, Illinois, April the 19th, 1894. My father and mother were both born in Lockport. My grandfather, John R. Wright, was in the Civil War from Alaska, and he used to tell me about that when I was a boy. Here's my grandfather, almost 90 years old, telling me the story about his grandfather. And I just loved hearing those stories and then retelling them with music.
Well, when you talk about stories and you talk about music, people get more of the senses involved when it's music. I think there's a song from 40 years ago, 30 years ago, and when it plays, whatever that song is for us, you always remember where you were, what you were doing,
Absolutely.
and it makes an impact. So storytelling through songs, man, that's powerful. I wish I could sing.
I've always loved Jim Croce. Harry Chapin is a big mentor of mine.
Oh,
Seals
man.
Crofts and
Jim
Laura
Croce. What was that? Jim Croce. What was his I can
Time in a
remember
Bottle.
him from my youth.
If I Could Save Time in a Bottle.
If I Could Save Time in a Bottle. And something
Time in a
about
Bottle.
he would spit in the wind.
Yeah, that's Don't Mess Around with Jim.
Don't mess around with Jim.
You can tug on Superman's cape, you can spit into the wind, you can pull the mask on the old Lone Ranger, but you can't mess around with Jim.
There you go. So anybody interested, look that up on YouTube. It was a hoot.
That's a fun one. I actually get asked to do Jim Croce every now and again at a gig, and I'll do Don't Mess Around with Jim.
And what were some of the other artists that you said after Jim Croce? I remember him very well.
Seals and Crofts, Logas and Messina, Bread. I was into the mellow stuff. When everyone else was listening to Led Zeppelin and that early 70s harder rock sound, I was mellowing out to Baby, I'ma Want You, with David Gates and Bread and Seals and Crofts and Summer Breeze Makes Me Feel Fine. And that created the imagery in my head.
So music is your passion. How is it you make your living?
With the media.
Mm-hmm.
I work for a radio group right now, and then I do side work as a video producer.
Well, I already knew the answer, but I knew it all fit in. But you're in that same area. You also had your band where you'd play gigs at clubs and what have you. Is that correct?
Yes. And I left the road in February of 1987 when I was in a horrible car accident in the mountains of Colorado outside of Telluride going to Cortez. And it was a life-changing situation. I went over the side of a 180-foot cliff in a snowstorm in a Land Cruiser, 73 Land Cruiser with a soft top. The roll bar broke off. I flipped, instinctively laid sideways, and as I pulled myself out and I stood there at the bottom of this deep ravine, my first thought was, this is a sign from the heavens that maybe my touring Holiday Inn band days are over and there's bigger plans for me.
Well, not to make light of a horrible accident like that, tell me what song came out of it?
Many. The one I actually, it's taken me almost 40 years to write this song, but I just wrote it in the last month. It's called Buying a Little More Time.
Buying a Little More Time. Well,
And I believe that Buying a Little More Time is probably the most powerful song I've ever written. So folks will want to check that out, and you'll want to check it out. I'll send it.
I can assure you, James, I will. I tell you, so you've had a life where you've earned your living in media, but you've got to express yourself in music.
Yes.
And at 70, you're not ending, you're just getting started.
I'm just getting started. When I had the surgical misadventure and lost my voice, I had to look at technology and embrace new things. I had read that Randy Travis, his engineers, had cloned his voice because he can't sing anymore. And I was afraid that I wasn't going to be singing anymore. So I took clips from 5 years ago from studio, raw clips, and created my own vocal clone in case I couldn't heal up enough to sing again. Well, I have healed up enough to sing. It's a little different, but I've still got that vocal clone. And that was the beginning of embracing new technology and new ways of approaching my art.
Well, in the song that we heard, I believe it's called Finding My Voice.
Yeah.
It's quite evident you've got a voice and you found it. James, if there's anything that you'd want to tell people in closing about finding the things you love and going the route you went to make sure you got to express them, being your own producer, being your own studio, you didn't sign with anybody, but you're having fun doing it, what would you share with our audience?
I would say embrace technology, embrace new opportunities, and continue to pursue the thing that you love, even if you're 70 and beyond. New opportunities are always there. Information is always flowing. New song ideas never are convenient. They just come, and you have to be prepared to knock, to answer that door when that inspiration knocks. And that's the same with anything, whether you're an artist or a businessman or a musician. Do the thing you love, do it the best you can, embrace the technology that's available, do the damn video, so to speak.
And when adversity confronts you,
yes,
use it as an adjustment, not as failure. It is not failure until you accept it as such. And I'm glad you didn't. And I want to thank you for being on our show today. And as we leave, James, we're going to leave to the music of Finding My Voice. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
In the quiet of the night, when the stars align, I lost the words I thought were mine. Shouted to the moon, but all I found was silence echoing an empty sound. The world kept moving, seasons changed, but I was lost in a whirlwind of pain, fighting battles with shadows in my mind. Had to step back, leave the noise behind. I had to lose my voice to find